Hi guys, it's Monday morning. Today and for the next few days I will talk about staying back on track, sticking to routine and all of that jazz. So I basically want to talk about the difference between planning and actually sticking to routine, how to stay productive, how to take care of yourself while you're trying to stay productive, how to find any free time while you're also trying to be successful. For the next few days, I will film myself and show you how I approach these things. I promise you there will be no action whatsoever. Most of the time, my routine is simply sitting in front of the computer and tapping away. But I will still walk you through all of these action items on my to-do list and all of the tasks that I do throughout the week and explain what I do and why I do what I do. And hopefully you will find it motivating. I personally really like these types of videos. They help me stay on track, they motivate and inspire me, and I hope I can do the same for you. Without further ado, let's get going. The very first thing I want to talk about is planning versus actually committing to a routine. I know that by the time this video comes out, so by the way, when I'm filming it, it's still mid-January, but when this video comes out, it will probably be the end of January, beginning of February, and I know that by that time, everybody's done with their yearly resets. And that's great, because I don't want to talk about resetting anything, and there will be a separate video about not even resetting, but upgrading a routine. Regardless, I do not want to talk about changing your routine in any way in this video. What I want to bring your attention to right now is how you're actually using your time. By the end of January, you should get radically honest with yourself about whether you have enough time to turn all the plans you made for yourself in the beginning of the year into reality, or whether you overpromised a little bit. What usually happens, and trust me, I know because I'm speaking from my own experience and I used to do that too, is that we chronically underestimate how much free time we will have in the future. We tend to think that next week, next month, next year, we'll have more time to accomplish everything we ever wanted. But the reality is that the amount of time we have doesn't change. So instead, we feel like failures because we overplanned and overpromised. If that's your situation, I highly recommend watching one of my latest videos on how to not reset, but upgrade your routine. There specifically, I talk about how to take your past routine and make it a little bit better, but also way more sustainable that way than reinventing the whole thing from scratch. I will link it somewhere right here and also in the description box below. I also find it super important to give yourself enough time to ease into the new routine. So even when I made my plans for this year and this month specifically, I decided to give myself enough buffer time to be able to smoothly go from, so to say, point A to point B, point A being my old routine and point B being my new routine. So for example, last week I only added minor changes to my previous routine, so I just worked a little bit more, 1 hour more on a daily basis, but I kept my old wake-up time. This week I am also trying to wake up half an hour earlier. I actually don't wake up early, I only wake up at 7 a.m. It's impossible, in my opinion, to wake up earlier than that because it's just pitch black outside, and when it's not pitch black, it's gray most of the time, so the weather is not very inviting. What I'm saying is that I'm changing my routine bit by bit. I do not expect myself to go all in on the 1st of January, but rather I give myself enough time to adjust to the new environment, to the new requirements, so to say. And I feel like a lot of time we just overwhelm ourselves with too many new habits, and that creates a lot of unnecessary resistance. And again, it has more to do with your personality type. I self-identify as a low energy person, and I find it more sustainable to be able to commit to my goals if I make enough time for myself to ease into this new routine. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and have some focus time. I'm gonna go and work, and we'll reconvene in a moment. Let me make a confession. This is what our dining table looks like right now. Ta-da! It is quite messy, isn't it, right? We have some hobby stuff on the left. That's from my partner. He paints miniatures. Then we have some mandarins, or tangerines, or clementines. I'm not sure. Either one of them. Then we have a lot of plants on the background. We have some cookies, my water bottle, supplements, eye drops. So it's a bit all over the place. And what I'm trying to say is not to show you how much stuff we've got, but I always talk about staying focused, being strategic with your time. And this is just a prime example of what I mean. So far, we've been prioritizing our work, our respective careers, our health. So we go to the gym regularly. We make sure that we cook our meals most of the time, and also our hobbies. So yeah, as you can see, there's just some hobby stuff here, and there were also a few of my books on the table, but I just moved them so that I have some space to eat. But anyway, we've been prioritizing different things, which means that cleaning fell by the wayside. I mean, we still keep the apartment clean. It's not dirty, but it is messy. And it will probably stay messy for a while because, again, it is not a priority. And I know that a lot of productivity content seems to be obsessed with cleaning, with deep cleaning. Everyone deep cleans their apartment almost every day. And I just want to remind you that, well, first of all, your clean apartment might not look, that clean. See, there's a lot of mess. It can be messy and clean, yes. And second, if somebody tries to sell you the idea of a perfect life, wait, actually, let me switch the camera. Anyway, my second point is that if somebody tries to sell you the idea of a perfect life, meaning you have everything under control, you're always on time with all the deadlines, you have perfect relationships, your apartment is always clean. If somebody tries to tell you that any type of productivity that deviates from that is not normal, then first of all, they're wrong, and second, they're lying to you. Because let's be honest, people who are not full-time content creators, who are not full-time productivity content creators, they just can't afford spending so much time on cleaning, on testing different routines, on trying out all the supplements, on spending 4 hours a day on cooking. That's just not realistic. So I want you to feel okay about whatever your productivity routine might look like. Mine doesn't look perfect. And again, it's okay because it's just a system that's supposed to help you get more money, more life. Well, by life, I mean more time to spend on whatever the heck you want. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. Hello again. It's after lunch already, and I just realized that whenever I need to film a video, I usually wear this particular sweater. And the only reason for it is that I do not own that much loungewear. I actually do have quite a big wardrobe. In my own personal opinion, I would say that I have, excluding undergarments and socks, I have somewhere around 100 items, most of which are sweaters and coats for the winter because, well, I live in Finland, so it doesn't get quite hot here. We do have our summer months and I do get to wear shorts and skirts, but most of the time I just have warm and warmer clothes. And given the fact that I do not leave the apartment that often, unless I go for a walk, but I do not leave the apartment, I do not have an occasion to dress up. I prefer to wear the same clothes every day. I know that there are people who absolutely love dressing up on a daily basis, who love getting ready, applying makeup. I'm not one of these people. unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. For me, thinking about an outfit for the day and then also spending time getting ready, doing all that stuff feels like a waste of time. So I have a couple of sweaters I rotate on a regular basis, and then a few sweatpants I also rotate on a regular basis, and that tends to be my daily outfit because, again, there's no occasion for me to dress up and I don't want to spoil good clothes. And yeah, it creates this illusion that I only wear this sweater, which is not true, but at the same time it is true that there are only a few sweaters that I wear on a regular basis and I tend to rotate them. Anyway, so the first part of this video was a little bit more theoretical. I talked about planning versus sticking to the routine, and now I want to talk about my own goals and my own routine. And I think it makes sense to start with the goals because, at least I think it makes the most sense when you start by identifying your goals and then you build your routine based off of these goals. So my goals for this year, I have two major goals. The first one, or the second one, is about growing this channel. I think it has potential. I've been also getting more comments from you guys, which I always really enjoy and really like, and it's always so exciting for me to see what you have to say. And yeah, anyway, I love them. So I also think that we're building something here. It does feel like we're building some sort of a community. So yes, I do feel that this channel has the potential to grow. But the first goal is, of course, for me to grow my business, of course, because, you know, I need to pay the bills, I need money, and I would like to earn this money. I would like to earn my living by working for myself. I do think that, again, I identified a good niche. I talked in one of my previous videos that my ideal customer profile, my ICP, is mostly companies, seed stage startups, right? And then also scale up. So I think I identified my niche pretty well. I also know what I'm capable of, what I can produce, what I can promise, what I cannot promise. And of course, if I want my business to succeed, the main thing I need is clients. So where do I find these clients? And now we're like slowly moving from the realm of goals to the realm of routine. I know my numbers. I know how many content pieces, let's put it that way, I need to create on a monthly basis to be able, in the worst case scenario, just pay the bills, and in the best case scenario, to be able to save up for the future. And I should also keep in mind that I practically have 10 active months because, well, it's already mid-January and I've only finished one article, so I'm not getting any more work done this month because I do not have any ongoing conversations on projects, and all of my projects are already secured for February, regardless. And then, so we're already excluding the month of January from the annual income, and then we're also excluding at least 1 month in summer because in Europe a typical annual leave takes roughly 4 to 5 weeks. So it's almost the duration of one summer month. So I can practically assume that for 1 month in summer I will have zero work, and it leaves me with 10 active months or 10 months of active work. But these are all technical details. So I know my numbers, I know how many clients I need to have on a retainer basis and how many I can have on a project basis. So I have all the numbers ready. Now I just have to find these clients, right? Because it's one thing to just have it all planned out, and it's a totally different thing when you have the whole process rolling. So the system I came up with, and let me be fully transparent with you, I didn't create this whole system myself. I copied it from other salespeople I know, and I just adjusted it based on my own skills, based on my own experience in sales, which is basically non-existent, based on my goals. And yeah, I just took the system that already exists and I adjusted it to fit my own needs. If I want to secure one client, it means I have to send out roughly 30 outreach messages. I think the actual number is something like 32 or something like that. And of course, it will also vary. Sometimes you will secure client after 10 messages, and sometimes you will need to send out 50 before you get a contract, but roughly it is 30 messages. If I need to send out these 30 messages to relevant people, it means I need to have 30 relevant connections. To find these relevant connections, I need to research roughly 50 websites. So we end up with the following number progression: 50, 30, 1. I know for myself that to feel comfortable, I would need to secure 1 to 3 permanent recurring paying customers, 1 to 3 retainer clients basically. So that translates into 150 websites, 150 researched websites, 90 relevant connections, and well, basically 3 potential customers. And what I've been doing the whole morning is actually doing the research and writing down all the relevant contact information. Right now, my prospecting list has 10 contacts already, so I'd say it's not bad for one Monday morning. I actually expected it would take me longer to do all the research. So my assumption was that it would take me 30 minutes per website. But it turns out that I'm much faster than I initially thought, which is obviously great news. And yeah, with that speed, I'll be able to create a list of probably 40 prospects in 2 days. Of course, I have other things to do, like I also need to do administrative tasks, and I also need to edit videos, and I also need to do this and that. So it won't be that I will get my 20 contacts today and then I will get my 20 contacts tomorrow, but it will probably be more like I get 20 contacts today and then I get 20 more contacts on Thursday, and I will also let you know later on why it is on Thursday and not on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then in terms of weekly planning and weekly routine, so today I'm focusing on prospecting exclusively in addition to filming this video. It's actually the other way around. I'm like doing a little bit of filming in between prospecting. And I think I also mentioned it that my choice for one of my biggest priorities for 2025 is to do more focused work and less multitasking. And by multitasking, I mean not only doing 2 tasks at once, but also switching between different tasks too often. So today I'm doing prospecting and nothing else, 8 hours of prospecting. Tomorrow I have a bit of content creation for my organic channel. So my main acquisition channels right now are organic and outreach. Actually, let me just be honest with you and say that I use LinkedIn. I post on LinkedIn 3 times a week. That's my organic channel, and then I outreach to people also on LinkedIn. That's my, well, sales channel, I guess you can say. And tomorrow I'm doing this batch content creation for LinkedIn, so I'm gonna create content for the whole week. And I also have a little bit more filming to do. As I said, I'm gonna film for the next few days, and then there was something else. So there are like some minor tasks, but mostly tomorrow is all about content creation. And then on Wednesday, I have a reduced workload. I'm only going to work for 4 hours. And the reason for that is that I figured that, first of all, I'm the most productive on Monday and Tuesday. So I try to push more workload to these days and use these days to do the most tedious work, the most time consuming, the most focus requiring work, and then push all of the creative stuff to the later half of the week. And then another reason for this change is that, I think I mentioned it earlier as well, that so I would say I'm a very introspective person. I accumulate a lot of thoughts as I go about my life, and if I don't process these thoughts, they prevent me from working, essentially. They prevent me from focusing on things other than my thoughts. I've been meticulously tracking how I use my own time, and I noticed that Wednesday is this midpoint by which I've accumulated so many thoughts that I started taking way more breaks, and I do it unconsciously. I already tried turning Wednesdays into an additional day off. That didn't really work out because, first of all, Wednesday is one of the 2 days when I can film, so that's a no-go. And second, because I didn't reallocate my workload, I ended up with having too much on Thursdays and Fridays, which is not optimal either. So what I did differently this time is I reduced the Wednesday workload. I didn't make it a full day off. And second, I pushed some of the Wednesday's workload to Monday and Tuesday, hence securing more free time for myself. I'm still testing this approach. I'm actually trying it out for the very first time this week. I think it will suit me very well, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And with that, I'm gonna pause this video for now. I'm gonna record a few clips and we'll see you tomorrow. It's Tuesday, it's almost 2 p.m. already. I was waiting for the sun to come out to film this part of the video, but apparently it's not happening today. So we gotta make do with what we've got. And also, I feel quite tired today. I didn't sleep that well, and also it's very gloomy outside. There is no sunlight. So yes, we'll have to keep it short. I even had to make myself some coffee, and normally I try to avoid caffeine in the afternoon, but you know, nobody's perfect, so again, we gotta make do with what we've got. I spent the whole morning batch creating content, and this time I underestimated how much time it would take me. I planned to spend 4 hours on it, and I actually spent 4 hours on it, and I still need 1 more hour to finish the last content piece, but it's okay because yesterday I over-delivered, and I feel like on a weekly basis my assumptions are more or less accurate. But anyway, my other big priority for this year, as for the rest of my life, is my health, obviously, and specifically I am changing my workout plan a little bit. I used to follow this classic 5-5-5 routine. I'm not sure what is its actual name, but I will link it down below. But basically the plan consists of 5 exercises. So one day you do squats, bench press and rowing, and then the other day you do squats, deadlifts and overhead press, and then you rotate these 2 days. I'm pretty sure that if you're into the whole health and fitness thing, then you must have heard of this workout plan. So I initially followed this plan, but then this winter I discovered that I have a runner's knee, so I have this knee pain when running. It's nothing serious, even though the pain itself is quite strong, so I have to switch. It's so strong that I have to switch to walking eventually, but it doesn't last after the exercise. And another funny thing is that it only manifests in winter months when it's cold outside. Anyway, after reading about it and talking with my partner, we came to the conclusion, or he suggested that I might have some muscle imbalance, that because I was doing mostly squats and deadlifts for my lower body, my upper thighs might be better developed than my hamstrings. Now my workout routine is mostly focused on working out the problem area, so the hamstrings. So my routine consists of doing leg curls, then hip thrusts, but I do this adjusted version, so instead of doing it with the bar, I do it more like a bridge pose. I have a band around my thighs. I hold the pose for a while, and apparently it's very good for recovery, so I do that. I do monster walks. It's this lateral band walk. I replace deadlifts with Romanian deadlifts. And then for my upper body, because I still want to have my workout routine balanced, I do assisted pull-ups. So I also do them with a band, but I use the bands that they have at the gym. And then I do bench press, and then I do a little bit of abs exercises whenever I feel like it, because it's also good for the posture. I hope I will be able to see the results somewhat soon, and by that I mean that I will be able to run longer distances again. I even put myself this kinesio tape. It's here it's written band kinésiologique, pardon my French, but yeah, anyway, I haven't bought this thing because apparently it can keep your knee in place, so I should be able to run even before my hamstrings are properly developed, and I really count on that. And I guess you might be thinking right now, why going through all this hassle if there are other types of exercise? And well, first of all, I think it's a great opportunity for me to learn more about my body and also to have more muscle balance, so to say. But also, I genuinely like running and going to the gym. When I just started going to the gym, that is, I started it with a noble goal to improve my posture, and that really was my goal. And I guess I was also very lucky to have my partner who's very much into fitness, and he was already doing it, so it was much easier for me to get into the whole thing. And then eventually my goal has morphed into simply going to the gym for the sake of it. I noticed that not only it improves my physical well-being, I work from home, right? I sit in front of the computer for most of the time, and it's not really great for you. At the end of the day, you tend to feel stiff in so many different places. Your neck hurts, your hips hurt. I recently also started developing this wrist pain. It's not great. And not only the gym makes you feel better physically after a long day of working, so not only it sort of massages your muscles, but it also has a very positive impact on your mental health. At least I noticed that it has this influence on me. I noticed that especially if I have a stressful day at work, or not even a stressful day, but if I've been thinking about a lot of things, processing and writing and organizing, then going to the gym really helps me clear out all the mess that's going on in my mind. And I don't even mean that I have any destructive thoughts or anything, it's just I think a lot. And I am in a creative field, so I also tend to create a lot and organize and process and come up with new ideas. So, well, your mind ends up being clogged, and going to the gym helps me start from a clean slate, so to say. And I don't even listen to music when I go to the gym anymore. I mean, I still wear my noise-canceling earplugs, but what I do nowadays, I put them on and I just listen to pink noise, and then, yeah, I just chill. As I already said, massage my muscles, to use this allegory. Or a metaphor. I just exercise, I just do my workout, I try not to think of anything, or if I need to think of something, I just use this time to sort of like meet my thoughts rather than think them through. I don't know if it makes any sense, but it's sort of like I'm attending to my thoughts rather than thinking them through. But as a result of it, by the end of the day, by the end of my workout routine, I feel much fresher and lighter, both mentally and physically. And even when I don't feel excited to go to the gym, which is most of the times, now that I know how it affects me, especially mentally, I still do. I still go to the gym even when I don't feel like it, even when I just want to lie on the couch, simply because I know how great it is for my mental health. With running, it's sort of the same. It really helps you get rid of anything that troubles you. And also with running, at least for me personally, it's very easy to increase the difficulty level, so to say. Once you reach the 5K mark, it's so much easier to increase the distance to 7K, to 10K, and take it from there. And I guess I'm an ambitious person, and I really like seeing my Garmin watch telling me that, hey, you hit a new personal record. And especially since this year I really want to hit a new PR of 20 kilometers, so I want to go for a half marathon. I think it's 12 miles, and for that I know that I have to be in good shape, because it's just very tiring on your body, and if you have any muscle imbalance, they will manifest themselves when you do this longer distance running. So I guess that's another goal, but as I already said, mostly it is for my mental health. But anyway, I'm gonna post this video now, I'm gonna finish my work, and then tomorrow I will see you again, and hopefully I will also feel better. I will definitely have a much lighter workload tomorrow, so I should feel better. But anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. It's Wednesday afternoon, and as you can probably notice, the sun is finally out, which is crazy. I'm even gonna go for a walk today to celebrate it. But regardless, I initially planned to have a lighter workload today, as I mentioned before, because Wednesday is my self-reflection day, or I do not really reflect on my life, but rather on my business operations. But then something popped up, and now I'm gonna have a meeting with a potential client this afternoon, which is pretty exciting. And since I know that I'm more or less free on Wednesdays and otherwise I'm almost fully booked, I decided to be flexible and go for it. I'm also now trying to prioritize actions that take me closer to my goal, which is in this case to make my business profitable. I'm focusing first and foremost on working on client cases, on looking for more clients and stuff of that nature. But what I wanted to talk about is why do I even have such a strange schedule? So I recently finished this book, The Goal, A Process of an Ongoing Improvement. You might have heard of it. It's quite famous in business management circles. It is also, or it might be a little bit outdated, and let's be honest, this book does have a few shortcomings, but the major questions it raises and the major topics it covers are still relevant regardless of, I guess, the day and age, and regardless of the industry. The book covers primarily the manufacturing industry, and yeah, I would say that it still stays relevant for most part. Even though it is a business management book, it is not structured like a textbook, but rather like a novel. I mean, it really is a business novel, and I have to say that as a novel, it's not that great. All the characters feel like the same person, they talk the same, they act the same, well, there is a little bit of conflict and tension between different characters, but I wouldn't say that there is enough to make a really interesting novel, a really worthwhile novel. But as a method of educating, which is why it is written that way, it's brilliant in my opinion. So the issue the main characters struggle with is the fact that the plant where they work, it's all about a manufacturing plant. So this plant is not profitable, while all the so-called efficiencies like cost per part, cost per hour, and productivity per hour, and all things of that nature. So the plant is not profitable while these efficiencies are up. The main character, he receives an ultimatum from his boss that if the plant doesn't become profitable, they will close it. And they make a few changes to how they operate. For example, one of the things they find out is that, yes, all units are productive by themselves, but does this productivity equal efficiency? They come to the conclusion that what really matters is the number of finished goods, finished products they produce, because finished products means higher sales. And it doesn't matter how many separate parts you produce unless they contribute to the revenue. And it's this idea that being busy all the time doesn't mean being efficient. In fact, being busy all the time means being inefficient. That caught my eye. You know that I talk about it myself all the time. I talk about the fact that you shouldn't be productive for the sake of being productive, and you should always balance work with rest or work with play, however you want to define it. But seeing it exemplified in such a manner made me again look back on my own schedule and think if I can we can twist some things to optimize it even further. And this little exercise led to this schedule or this routine that I have right now. So as I already said, I do most of my work on Monday and Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, I have a reduced workload so that I can think and reflect on what has been already done. Since I'm in the early beginning of my business journey, it actually makes sense for me to reflect and reiterate, or I actually have to reiterate quite a lot. And you cannot reiterate unless you find out what the problem is. So it is quite helpful for me to have this spare time to think about these things. And then on Thursday, I have a full workday again. And then on Friday, I again have a reduced workload. And then Saturday and Sunday are my days off. I don't do anything on these days unless I feel called to do something. So if I feel inspired to look for clients, update some creative templates that I have, prepare some content for socials or anything of that nature. So if I feel inspired to do it, I act accordingly. And if I don't, then I just engage in my hobbies. I spend this free time on reading, painting, meeting friends, just doing whatever I feel like doing in the moment. And as I also mentioned, I don't do any cleaning on weekends. I try to do a little bit of cleaning throughout the week, but then Friday is my actual cleaning day. I have dedicated time on Fridays to do all the cleaning that I need to do. And why am I rambling about all these things? Well, first of all, I'm very excited about testing the system. I think it will work for me. And yeah, I think it will make me more productive, more efficient specifically, because again, it's not about how much time you dedicate to a task, but what kind of an outcome you get. And then I also think it's very important to ask yourself, does this bring me closer to my goal or not? Whether it is an action, does a particular action, let's say, checking my emails every 5 minutes, does this bring me closer to making more money or being more productive or not? And then readjust your schedule accordingly. Or even take a look at a bigger picture and ask yourself, does a particular schedule work for me or not? Because again, you do not have to sit in front of the computer for 8 hours in order to be productive. I know, I already said it so many times, and I'm still gonna say it many more. But yes, it doesn't matter how many hours you spend on a particular task. What matters is actually that you get your job done. Whether you work for yourself, whether you work in corporate, if you have an opportunity to be flexible with your time, I know not everyone has it. If you're in charge of your own time, I would highly recommend you to take a look at your schedule and adjust it in a way that works for you. And also remember that you do not have to be 100% transparent with your manager. If you get the job done, it doesn't matter how much time you spend on it. And I think I'm gonna finish this video right here because, let's be honest, I'm gonna work tomorrow and on Friday, so I won't be able to add anything new to what I've already said. So for all I know, this can be the end of this video. I hope you liked it, and as always, I wish you a great day and I will see you next time. Bye bye!